Got myself a brand new light, guys. This was, I got this at Lowe's hardware store. This was $19.95. And it does the job. I did have to retighten my intakes. And I let the engine get real hot. I let it warm up, I guess, to operating temperature. And the push rods are all cool. They're all cool now. But what I'm going to do is I saw another method of adjusting these. So I'm going to check it out. I'm going to see if I'm going to try that too. So the first thing they did is they rotate until you see. What we're going to do is we're going to shoot for, since I can see the front ones better, we're going to shoot for the front cylinder first. So we're going to see if I can see those two moving up and down first. Okay, that's the intake that went down. Now the exhaust over there went up. That's exhaust front one going up. Okay. See how the front cylinders, two push rods, I'm making them go up and down. Now I'm going to see where that piston is in that front cylinder. Alright, I'm using a plastic tube big enough to fit inside the spark plug hole. Okay, now that's the distance from the top of the spark plug hole towards contact of the piston. And we'll check the rear one. The rear one is a lot deeper than the front one. But that wasn't really top dead center. So let me rotate this again. Okay, now see the back one? Now we're going to check those two cylinders again over there for depth. Okay, we're going to take our straw. It still has that red mark on it. See, and that rear one goes to that red mark, and the front one should be deeper. Yes, the front one's deeper. Okay, guys. Now, since I have these two here, you seen they're both going up and down like that? That means these two tappets are on the base circle of the camshaft, because they were going up and down like that. So if they weren't going up and down like that, they would be on the top of the lobes. So these two have to be on the base circle. That means the lowest part of the lobe that they rotate on. It's called the base circle, or the bottom of the lobe. So even though I have this bike running good right now, I'm going to readjust these. As you see, I don't know if you can see that or not. Here, let me set this down a minute. And man, my hands are full of grease, so I just wiped them on my pants. All right, let's try with this hand here. See, you could turn both of these. They're both turnable. Means they're cool. But since you can spin these with your fingers, that means there's not too much pressure on them. So what we're going to do is we're basically what I'm doing right now. Even though these are adjusted cool and the bike starts good now, it's running good, sounds good, I'm doubling down. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to double down, and we're going to do these over again. So, all right, I got the lock nut turned all the way down. Okay, there's no lash in this push rod. So, I'm going to turn the bottom adjuster 4 times down. And then we're going to do the same to this one and go get a cup of coffee and wait 30 minutes. And after 30 minutes, I should be able to turn or spin, they say. I should be able to spin the push rod with my fingers. All right. And for this is going to take a 7/16 and a 1/4 inch open end. And I already have a paint marker on my adjuster down there. So that's what I'm going to use as reference for when turning the adjuster. Okay. That's 1 time. That's 2 turns. And 3 turns. And actually, it's now feeling like the tappet is giving pressure on the push rod, so that's a good sign. And that's 3 turns we got. And that's 4 turns. So now we're going to make sure what time it is, and we're going to let that one bleed down for 30 minutes. Now let me get the lock nut loose on that one. I'm turning the lock nut down enough so the adjuster is going to be able to go down 4 turns. Okay. Got our lock nut down. Now I'm going to have to put a paint reference. And I did buy some magic markers, but since I was stupid enough to buy Sharpies don't work on these. I should have got a paint marker. As a matter of fact, I was staring right at a paint marker, guys, a white paint marker. And instead, what did I do? I never learned my lesson. I got Sharpies, so now we're still have to use my modeling paint. And a little artist paintbrush. I never learned my lesson. I think my mama dropped me on the head when I was in the delivery room. So, all right. Paint our line on there, or mark, or whatever you want to call it. Set that down. Now, get our 1/4 inch, our 7/16, and make sure there's no lash or no play in your push rod. And we're going to turn this down 4 times. That's 1 time. Two times. My mark's getting messy. 3 times. 4 times. Okay. All right, now let's go get a cup of coffee, maybe a snack. We're going to give these 30 minutes for the tappets in there to bleed out. Like I said, I warmed this up until my rocker boxes were hot to the touch, where I almost couldn't keep my hand on them. So the tappets have to be filled with oil now. So let's let these bleed down for 30 minutes. Then when I come back, I should be able to spin the push rods with my fingers. All right, let's put the light on. Okay, these were the 2 I turned down, 4 more turns. As you can see, I cannot turn them, guys. So that means these are over adjusted. So basically what that means is the bike was cool before. So I have to bring these back where they were. And we'll start with the front one. One turn. So what we're going to do, we're going to put these just like that. I could turn them. I could just barely spin them. They're nice and tight. So that one's good. But this one here, the same thing. To make that a little tighter. There we go. That's cool and copacetic too. Let me just loosen it up just a hair. Ah. I'm going to put a little bit more Loctite on well, you know what I'll do? I'll screw my lock nuts up first, and then I'll smear some more Loctite on that. Just tightening up the inner one, or the intake, the lock nut. Oh, man. There. They can both turn good. Now let's get a little bit of my Loctite. Okay. And that dude should be cool and copacetic. See, this is why, guys, I wanna put solid lifters in this. Solid lifters will give you more torque, more engine response, meaning more torque, but you'll have more vibration on the engine, and you might break some valve springs in the future. So, all right, let me. I'm going to check these ones here for play. Let me rotate the engine a little bit so that these two are going up and down. Okay, I got my straw out. Okay, I don't want that straw to break off inside the cylinder. Okay, we're going to check those boys for play up there. See how they are. These are pretty tight. Where's my straw at? I got to do my straw trick. All right, I found my straw. My front cylinder comes to this red line, same as the back one. So as you see, I can't. Oh, I can turn that. Okay, as you see, I can turn these. Could turn them the same as the rear ones. So they're all good. I want to put a little bit more thread locker on that boy up there. Those two boys in the front, man. Alright. Motorcycles, guys, are a real pain in the you-know-what. Now these are handy right here. What you want to do with these when you're done with them, if you have a safe, put these in a safe, man, because they are handy. Put these in their home. Make sure they pop in like that. Get our two keepers ready, or retaining clips are also called. Slide that tube up until you feel it pop in there. Pop up inside the head. What I did is I ground my screwdriver sides down a little bit to fit in this slot a lot easier. So you don't want these clips popping out while you're on the road, man. Alright, what are we doing wrong here? And then visually inspect everything after you get it done. That one's in. We'll put these in my safe. Get these other two retaining clips. That one's in. Now my O-rings are up inside the head there. So which they are new. Okay, guys. I think she's cool and copacetic. Now what I'll do, after I run this for about 100 miles, I'll take these back off and I'm going to check them again. Alright, I could put my my air cleaner back on. Where's my air cleaner? Now, like I said, with this top bolt, I ground down sides of it to fit. I believe that's a 10 millimeter. Or you can get an Allen key. I'll have to show you my Allen key. What I did is I cut the front off. I cut the one front off it a little bit. I made it like a stubby to be able to get in there. So let me get my gasket. That's not right. Tell you the truth, I forgot how this guy here goes on, man. Hold on, let's put this down. How do you go on? You go on like that? Nope, you don't go on like that either. You don't go on like that. Okay, it goes on like that then. But you know what? Here's the hole here. The vent hole. So it has to go like that. Or we'll cover up our vent hole. Okay, that's how that has to go on. Because the vent is right there for the breather. Okay. Okay, let's get another fastener up here. I should put some gasket cinch on this so that it'll stop falling off, but I'm not gonna. Why you giving me a hard time now, man? Oh, I see. I see why you're not going in easy. Oh, you son of a... Not going in easy because these little washers, guys, that are on it. If I could find my gasket cinch, I'll put some of that on to stop the thing from falling off. Basically, this stuff is glue, but it also seals it just the same. But what I want is I want it to stick to the outside of this. So what we're going to do, we're going to do this the right way. We'll put that back in. We're going to get some acetone to clean that surface first. Okay. Now, make sure how it goes on. Okay, now we're going to coat the back of this with gasket cinch. Yeah, see these little washers, they actually have flat sides to them, guys. And that flat side has to go against this body, or they'll give you a hard time like they were doing to me. Okay, see how that goes in there? Now we're going to get our Allen key ready. All right, that's in. Man, you want to talk about a pain putting this on? This thing is a pain, boy. It is a pain to put on. Okay, now the washer that goes around the bottom one, it's perfectly round. So that's not going to present a problem for us. So I'm going to put that top one in first. Since that's the toughest one, that one has to go in first. Why they make things like this, guys, I have no idea. I have no idea why they engineer things like this. You know, why they don't make something easy to install is beyond me. See, that's why a large part of me wants to transition over to an electric vehicle, because I'm sick and tired of internal combustion issues. The only problem with an electric scooter, which like that BMW one that I have my eyes on, a novice washer is giving me issues. Of course it is. Oh, you son of a... Don't tell me you come out. Oh my God in heaven. Give me patience. The problem with that scooter that I have my eyes on is it's not cheap. Thing's $13,000. And it's a scooter. It's not even... And, well, you know what? I'll talk... Let me do this first, and I'll explain my side of that. Okay, let's make sure these are tight. And bottom one. Okay. There. Now, it's like probably about 3 o'clock in the morning right now. I can't start this up until 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. 8 o'clock in the morning. So, oh yeah, I still have to... I have to tighten that dude up there. This little nut up here before I forget about that. And here goes everything. Right, there we go. Now everything go to play now, right? Everything ought to come and play with me. Everything got to fall, guys, right? Let's cap off our acetone so that doesn't evaporate. Like I said, after you get all these clips up, lay down and visually make sure that they're in their holes. All I got to do now is put the spark plugs back in. I gap the spark plugs at 35. I have a 35 gap set and I have a 40 gap set. I'm putting the 35 gap set in here first. So, as you've seen, I can't adjust those tappets no more than they are. They're cool. So, yeah, if you put solid tappets in, see, solid tappets, as soon as you give the bike throttle, they respond because they're solid. You'll have more. That's torque. You'll have more torque, but you'll have more vibration, and parts might break more. That's why they invented the hydraulic tappet, because it's easier in the engine. It's less vibration. Now, I believe in racing, especially drag racing. I think they have solid tappets. I believe they use solid tappets more. So, yeah, with the electric vehicles, with that electric scooter's cool, and I'm still thinking of trading this in on it. You know, because I think the range for that is, I think it's like 120 miles, which I don't go far anyway. You know, any event I'll go to, they're like within 10, 15 miles from here anyway. The pros of that, it's called the BMW CE4, and it's not a small scooter. The thing's big. It's probably not as long as this, but it weighs 540 pounds, and it's all electric. It's not a hybrid. It's totally electric. You know, you get on it, you turn it on, off you go. It's completely quiet. But it requires a 220 volt outlet. It doesn't plug into like a stove, like a 220 oven outlet. You have to get an electrician to make the hookup. That's the downside, especially nowadays. You know, calling everybody, guys, all the home remodelers, they all want big money. You just can't call someone over to put a light switch in anymore. They don't do that. You have to do that by yourself, or you have to know somebody. You have to have a buddy. You know, you have to have one of these buddies, man. A buddy for this, buddy for that. I have a buddy for concrete. I have a buddy that cuts trees down. I have a buddy that lays drywall. I have a buddy that lays block. I have a buddy that lays brick. I have a buddy that cleans brick. I have a buddy that makes the bricks. I have a buddy that knows someone that works in a brick foundry. I have a buddy for everything. You have to have one of them. You have to have one of them, which I don't have. All my friends are dead. I don't have no buddies. I have no buddies. You know, so you have to call an electrician over to wire up the outlet for the scooter. It's 220 volt, and it takes like 8 hours to charge the scooter up. So, you know, good luck finding an electrician to come over just for that, because they all want thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. They want a big job. That way they can go out and buy their big 4-door pickup truck, or $120,000 pickup truck. You know, they want the jobs at least $5,000 to $10,000 electrical jobs. They don't want to come over to wire no lamp up for your baby's room. They don't want no job. We're going to come over and fix the outlet, or wire up a hookup for your Tesla. They don't want nothing for your Tesla. They don't want nothing to have to do with that. They want big money. So that's the downside of it. Pardon me for being dramatic. Now it's like that electric bike, that electric bicycle. I was looking at, the one I'm looking at is $2,800 because it's a dual motor. You know, since I'm a big boy, okay, that's what I need to go up these, especially with these hills around here. The positive side of that is it's cheaper. It's a bicycle. You don't need a license. You don't need a registration. You don't need a tag on it, which is a license plate. Pardon me, I'm sorry for that. You don't need insurance on it. You can ride that up on a sidewalk. Top speed is 40 miles an hour. on this one. It's a there's actually two of them. There's an Ananoki dual motor, and there's a Hora dual motor bike. They're bicycles. They have, it's a 52-volt battery. I believe it's 2,000 watt bicycle. It takes 8 hours to charge it, and and they have like a little basket. Because what I need, guys, is I need something where I can go get groceries when I retire. Because I think what's going to happen is the insurance is going to become so expensive to get for an automobile. Old people are going to be phased out. See, what they want to do with the elderly, they want all the elderly to disappear. Like a magic act. They want all the old people to get out of their way and just disappear. They want all the old people to go into homes. That's what they want. And that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. So they're going to make the insurance is going to go up every year. It's going to go up and up and up and up and up and up to the point where people can't no longer afford insurance. That's why a lot of people around here, they're driving around with no insurance. You know, because now in Pennsylvania, you don't have to get a registration sticker for your license plate. So if a cop doesn't spot that you don't have stickers on your inspection stickers on your windshield, a lot of them just don't spot that anymore. They don't look at that. You know, so you can actually get away with it around here, driving your vehicle without an inspection or registration or insurance, which is what a lot of these people are doing. That's why when they get in an accident, they take off because they have no insurance. And since we don't have frontal license plates here, you can't ID them. So if someone's behind you, tailgating you, they hit you, boom, they go left or right, they're gone. They're gone. The hit and run, they are gone. Even though you have a front and rear dash cam in your car and you recorded it, you still can't ID them because there's no license plate on the front of the vehicle. So that's why they're getting away with they have no insurance on the cars or truck or SUV because they can't afford it. Because the insurance is so high now. On my Cadillac here, my Cadillac's a 2013. Okay? I've had no speeding tickets. I've been in no accidents for the last 30 years. And guess what my insurance is every year? My premium is $1,200. Last year was $963. It went up to $1,200. So what are they going to do? They're going to raise me, what, $250 every year? By the time I retire, my insurance is going to be over $2,000 a year on a car that's going to be 15, 16 years old. So they're making it to where you cannot afford insurance. I know a woman on YouTube. She lives over in Ohio. She's not even my age yet. She's not even 62. She's in her late 50s. She cannot afford insurance for her car. So I hipped her about electric bicycles, and I think that's what she's going to have to do. So that's why I'm starting to sway over buying either this Ahora or this Ananoki dual motor electric bicycle. So as you've seen, guys, I can't adjust the tappets anymore. Okay, I cannot adjust them no more. What I did is after that first video of adjusting those adjusting the push rods, the two exhaust push rods were loose. So what I did is I took the slack, I took the lash out of them, the looseness. and I made them tight to where you could turn them around with your hands. And I ran the bike. I started the bike up, started right up just like that. And the motor spun around like if you were watching a clock in fast motion, and it started right up. I had to adjust my carburetor a little bit, and I let the motorcycle warm up to where I could barely keep my hands on the rocker box tops, and she's cooling the gang now. So now tomorrow I'm gonna do the same thing on this. See, the thing is, guys, if I get stranded somewhere, I have nobody I can call, except for the place where I go to get my car inspected. He has a flatbed. I have AAA RV insurance too. I could always call them, but they're going to take like 6-7 days to show up. By the time they show up, I'm gonna have a little tent pitch beside my motorcycle. I'm gonna probably have a half a full face beard. My eyes are gonna be real dark from starvation. By the time they show up, it's gonna be like by 3 or 4 days later. By the time they show up, I say, guys, where were you? I'm half dead here. I almost had to call 911 for myself. Oh, we just got the call. Sorry. Things happen. But I would probably call him my dude, man. The dude with the flatbed. He's been pretty cool. It's hard to find a good mechanic, guys, but this one I found right now, he's pretty good. He's been pretty honest with me. So what I do is I give him a tip. Whenever I get my car inspected, I give him like a $50 tip, maybe even a $100 tip. That's what I did the last time. I gave him a $100 tip. You got to take care of them guys, man. I'm telling you, you cannot find an honest mechanic no more. You have to take care of them, right? Take care of them. So, all right. That electronics cover, I'm thinking very seriously of making that window on there. So the next thing I have to do to this is, let me show you my battery cables on this. I have number 1 battery cables. They're the thickest you can get for a motorcycle. Here's the negative. And now what we're going to make sure of before I put that cover on is these cables are tight where they connect to. We know the tops are tight. We know that. Now the bottom goes to ground, and the red goes to the starter top. So that little piece of rubber I'm going to pull off, and I'm going to make sure that's tight before I put this cover back on. I might cut for this window, guys, for the lights down there. I might not. I don't know. I mean, I already got one hole in that cover, and I haven't seen those covers on no other bike, so I don't know. So as you see, we have our stock ignition module on here. But this is definitely a Wires Plus setup. It's definitely Wires Plus. Here, let's shed some light on that. Underneath the reset breaker. A little hard to make it out. but there is no EHC module in there. And yeah, this is a nice little light right here, guys. Has a little switch in the back here. 19 bucks. Well needed. So when you're looking at a BigDog, those are one of the things you have to find out. You have to find out what kind of system it has. If it has the OEM EHC, if it has the new and improved EHC, or if it has Wires Plus, or if the bike was rewired to an all Harley electrical system. I had this bike for, I'm going on 4 years now. I only found out this year that this had Wires Plus in it. I had a feeling it did. You know, and the way I found out is I looked at the pictures of the Wire Plus setup online, and I found out that's exactly what I got in there. Otherwise I would never known it. When I got this bike, it had 1,150 miles on it. I got it in, I think 2018. I got it in 2018. 1,150 miles. So the guy that probably had, I got this up in Conneaut Lake. You know, they got, you know, the white people up there, they got a lot of money. They got a lot of money up there, guys. Them white people, man, I'm telling you, those white people up north in Conneautville and Conneaut Lake up there, they got a lot of money. They're all wealthy. They're all rich up there. Every single one of them is filthy rich. So, you know, he probably heard stories from his buddies like, oh, you're going to have a lot of trouble with that BigDog. You got to change that EHC, buddy. So he had a shop put the Wires Plus on it. I also found out where he disconnected the tachometer. When I took that tank off, there was 2 of those clips that were disconnected. I think that's the tachometer, because those lights on that tack there, I call them idiot lights. They're useless. They're more of a nuisance than they do good. So that's he probably disconnected the tack, but I'm not gonna connect those back up because I don't know for sure those were the tack lights. So that's why I left it like it is. I don't really like the tack lights on that. I don't really need them because I operate the bike by the sound. You know, when an engine's this big, you can shift gears by the sound and by the speeds you're at. And downshifting's the same way. But that's one of the things that you have to know about if you're going to buy a BigDog is what kind of system it has, what kind of electrical system it has. You know, so you're going to have to go online, you're going to have to do some research. Maybe even print out pictures of the Wires Plus, the OEM EHC, and the new ones. And you're going to have to take a look. You're going to have to take this seat off, and you're going to have to go in there and take a look at it. So, all right, guys, I'm not going to videotape making sure that positive and negative are tight. Because what I have to do is I have to disconnect my my battery cables on top of the battery so that I don't cause a short anywhere. And so tomorrow morning I'll turn this on again. I'll start it back up and we'll let it run a little bit more. And maybe I could actually take this out. It's supposed to rain again tomorrow morning. So maybe I can take this out on Sunday and make a ride video. You know, and as for adjusting those push rods, everybody has a different way of doing it. The way I first did it in that last video was you have the side the cylinder you're working on. You have that go up the top dead center. You could check that with putting a straw in that cylinder. You know, you could feel that the piston is at its highest point. That's top dead center. And then you rotate the tire. You can see there's two push rods going up and down like that. That means that they're on the base circle of their camshaft lobe. You know, there's all kind of different ways you can do it. You know, I don't think you can go wrong with these because they're hydraulic. It's pretty hard to go wrong. It's like I looked at this one video to where they weren't even concerned with the piston being at top dead center. They just rotated the push rods until the one piston's push rods are moving like that, which means they're on their base circle, their the camshaft lobes. You know, then they make sure there's no lash in the push rods. They tighten them. They tighten the adjuster down 4 turns. They let them bleed out for half an hour, and then they see if they're able to turn them by hand. Because if you're able, as long as the push rods aren't loose, and if you're able to turn them, I mean, they can't be like real loose, but if you're able to turn them with your fingers, then that means there's not a lot of tension. There's not an over amount of tension on those tappets, and that means your valves aren't open. You know, so if you have one that's open, what's going to happen is the other one might hit it and chip it. That's why, if you don't feel comfortable doing this, guys, don't do it. So I got lucky. I got lucky when my rear exhaust valve wasn't opening. I got lucky. That little piece of metal from the spark plug that got lodged in it, I got lucky with that too. If I would have to change the cam again, I wouldn't change it again. You know, if it ain't broke, don't mess with it. Don't mess with it. You know, of course, we all want to be the loudest boy on the block. You want everyone to turn their head. You know, just don't mess with it. Or if you got the money, pay someone to do it. You know, I do this to try to help people. There's hundreds and hundreds of videos on YouTube how everyone adjusts the push rods on these V-twins. Everybody does it differently. It's basically the same thing. It's basically all the same story. Your tappets have to be on the base circle of the camshaft. When they move up and down like that, that means they're on the base circle. Otherwise, one would be up more. And by adjusting both of them, when you turn that adjuster 4 times, it opens the valves, and when your tappets bleed out the oil, they close. And then, you know, after the 30 minutes of bleed down time, if you can turn those push rods around your fingers, the adjustment's good. It's cool. If you can't turn them, then they're torqued down too much. Then your push rods are torqued down too much, and you got to back off, or that means your valve's open and it could hit the other valve and chip.